On Blockchain Bernie here again, this time live again from fabulous Las Vegas, solving the blockchain trilemma, blockchain storage trilemma. And we've had that in a previous video, but now this video is about how we're doing that on Solana, fully integrated in Solana. And for those of you who know me, it has been an issue with Xandeum. So we're building that scalable storage layer here for some time now to figure out how to integrate fully into Solana. And we've come up with a great architecture that I'm going to dive into some of the details today. And this is a preview. It will also be in a blog post that's coming out soon. I'll give you a sneak peek of that blog post as well. But this is really, really exciting stuff. It is so important for everything that's going to come. There are big changes coming for Xandeum. You already know that the liquid staking product is in the works and it's going to be launched soon. And you know, the whole integration into the Solana system, the PNode network and the storage layer all being integrated into that. We have an architecture for that finalized, and I'm going to walk you through it and through that picture in this little video. Don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. And let's just dive right into it. So, not here. This is the blog post. I'll show you that later on. But here's the blockchain trilemma, the blockchain storage trilemma again. And that's why we're doing all this stuff, right? Because we have three things for blockchain storage, right? One is scalable to exabytes, right? And all the storage that you have in smart contracts doesn't scale to exabytes and beyond, right? The storage that's built into Solana with the Solana accounts, built into Ethereum with the Ethereum accounts, it just doesn't scale with regards to storage capacity. So even these two here is rare to see. And then also have it random access. So there are other storage solutions out there that scale to exabytes and exabytes, but they don't provide random access. Most of them, and almost none of them, provides random access, and none of them is really built into the smart contract world. So that's one thing. And with the Xandeum scalable storage layer, let's look into this here, right? So this is kind of a little bit overwhelming diagram here, but at the center of it, and let me enlarge that a little bit for you here, right? So at the center, we have the Xandeum Solana RPC node. So that means with our architecture, we have specialized RPC nodes in the Solana network. These RPC nodes need to be Xandeum aware. So for the devs that write these Xandeum enabled apps, they need to submit their transactions to a special RPC that is Xandeum aware, right? But not all the validators need to have the Xandeum software. That was a big problem for us because we thought like, well, each and every of the Solana validators would need to have the Xandeum software. That'll never work. So we would be, you know, left out with being our own chain, which would not be so nice because we love the Solana community. It already is there. Solana has a market cap of over $60 billion, right? Things like the Jito liquid staking pool, they are approaching $2 billion in total value locked. If they would, you know, do their Jito liquid staking and their Jito MEV on a chain like Polygon, which probably they could grab the market there easily because there is no MEV, there is little liquid staking on Polygon. They could grab all of the market, but the whole market cap of Polygon is $1.something billion, right? And they already have 1.8 or so total value locked on the Solana chain. So we want to piggyback on that momentum that the Solana chain has. So we need these Xandeum aware RPC nodes, right? And all these apps, these Web3 apps that are built on top of Xandeum, they submit their transaction to the Xandeum aware RPC. That checks, is this a Xandeum transaction, right? Is it a transaction that has one of these special new operations that only Xandeum offers, right? And if not, it'll just send that transaction to the regular vanilla Solana validators that you see here, right? So that's the easy part. And let me do this here. Okay, so and then if it is a Xandeum transaction, then it'll orchestrate the PNodes directly, this RPC node. It needs the special Xandeum software, and it'll orchestrate the PNodes. It'll figure out what PNodes to store the data on, because all the data here is paged and redundant, encrypted. We are using erasure codes. We're using those logical S3 compatible buckets, and we're having random access. All that is already defined in the documentation, defined at docs.xandeum.org. So that has been out for a few months now. The chapter that was missing there was how does it integrate into Solana? And we have that here now, and I couldn't be more proud and excited to have that here, right? So now, what this Xandeum aware RPC node does, it is emitting Solana transactions for these new operations. And the new operations that we're talking about here, there are basically the peek and poke operations, right? So poke would be you take data that the program, the developer writes a program, they have some data in their Solana accounts, and they can copy it out into the storage network, into the PNode network, right? That's the poke. So we poke it from, we have the data available in the Solana accounts, which is like the RAM of the blockchain, right? And we poke it into the Xandeum buckets. Those Xandeum buckets, the word buckets is taken from the Amazon S3 thing. They called it buckets, and so many others use that same metaphor. So we're going to poke them into these buckets, and then at a later stage, when we want some data back, we can peek it back, right? So we have these peek and poke operations. I love that. It's an alliteration, right? So it both starts with a P. But then the big issue that we've been having for some time is how can the vanilla Solana validators actually validate that, right? So again, here the RPC node orchestrates the P node. We see everything here, what that does, and then the RPC node just emits Solana transactions to validate these, right? So we will be using, and that's new here, Merkle proofs and TSS. Which is threshold signature schemes, right? So the P nodes will just create Merkle proofs that the data that was fetched is correct, and then we emit a Solana transaction, a regular Solana transaction, that will, in the end, prove that and validate that the data that was fetched with the peek operation was indeed the correct data, right? So that leaves us to that beautiful metaphor, a peek, poke, prove, right? So that's the new motto of the of the Xandeum storage layer, peek, poke, prove. So we can have peek and poke operations, read and write from these Xandeum buckets, but it can all be proved by the regular Solana chain. So we can use the security layer of the Solana chain, right? And many people ask now, are the P nodes like an L2 on Solana? I wouldn't call that an L2, right? There is no definition of the word L2, but it's not your typical L2 where kind of transactions are batched and then sent to the to the underlying Solana chain. And Solana doesn't need L2s. My feeling, at least, you have people that have other opinions on that. It is a storage layer, right? It's a scalable storage layer, and it's, you know, people try to put it into a category that they already know, but I think it's a new category in itself, right? It's not an L2. And then we have caches here, and the the RPCs today, they are caching the Solana accounts, the Solana ledger, and they're indexing all that, right? And the new RPC infrastructure that is coming here through the Xandeum RPCs, it needs to cache the Xandeum storage, and the Xandeum buckets as well, and index them as well, right? So that's going to be a whole new level of RPC infrastructure. So then the Solana instructions that are being emitted, they call this the Xandeum program, and that's just a regular Solana program implementing these things that we need for the Xandeum scalable storage layer. And the Xandeum program does the storage fee collection and distribution and validates the Merkle proofs, right? So that way, each and every Solana validator, and here we have this, the Solana accounts in that picture. So let me give you the big overview here again. Okay, so we have the Solana accounts here, and then we have the regular vanilla Solana validators. They can participate in validating Xandeum transactions, right? Because they do, with the Solana transactions that are emitted here, they validate the Merkle proof. So there will be more transactions here on the Solana chain through the Xandeum storage layer. So these vanilla Solana validators, they earn a little bit more because they have more transactions to validate, right? But then there are the Solana validators that install the Xandeum Solana software, right? So that is a special version of the Solana validator software that is Xandeum aware. And these nodes, these validator nodes that opt to use the Xandeum Solana software, they send challenges to the PNodes. So they make sure the PNodes are actually doing their job. They keep their promise of storing all that data. And it's a little bit like POST, which is proof of spacetime. And proof of spacetime was introduced by Filecoin back in the day, and it's being used by so many other storage chains like Chia and Sia, and I don't know, right? Everyone does their own proof of spacetime. And we're doing that through these challenges here that the validators, if they have that special Xandeum Solana software, they challenge the PNodes and they get extra rewards for that, right? So that's why we have the plus $$ here. So if a validator runs the Xandeum Solana software, that validator can earn way more extra rewards, right? So, but there are lots of extra rewards here in that economic model. Because here are the storage fee distribution accounts, right? So that means the Xandeum program here through that RPC, they collect the storage fees. So if all these Web3 programs come out, and that's what we're aiming for, right? We're solving this trilemma here just in order to create that, to spark that Cambrian explosion of new Web3 apps, of seeing all those successful Web2 apps being ported to Web3, which is just not possible today because we don't have a scalable storage layer, right? So the Xandeum program here, it is collecting all the fees, and all the fees go into storage fee distribution accounts. They are kind of similar to if people know Jito a little bit, Jito has the tip distribution accounts. So we have those storage fee distribution accounts here, and there is the plus $$ again, and that goes in several directions, right? These fees are collected not by the normal Solana validators, right? Not by these here, because these already earned the extra fees through challenging the PNodes. But these fees here, those go to the DAO members, right? Because the whole thing here, the liquid staking pool and the PNode network and everything is going to be controlled by the Xandeum DAO, right? And there will be a few changes to the Xandeum DAO. You already know the Xan DAO that's out there, but this Xan DAO will transition into managing this whole new architecture with everything, with the liquid staking, with the PNode supervision, with collecting all those fees. And the fees could be the pool commission for the Xandeum liquid staking pool, but the fees can also be the fees for the actual storage here, right? For storing stuff in the Xandeum buckets. And of course, the fees will be higher if an app requests a higher level of redundancy and wants to have it stored in more than one PNode, or if maybe it says, well, 7 is not enough, I need 17 or 43 PNodes to always have enough redundancy to store my data. The higher the redundancies, the higher the fees, obviously, because more PNodes are being involved. And all of these fees are being paid in Sol. They come into these storage fee distribution accounts. And from there, they can be claimed by the validators, the PNodes, and the token. It goes directly into the DAO, right? So if you hold a token, a Xan token, that gives you access to this DAO, you're participating in all of these fees here, right? And that is super, super exciting. It's a lot here that we've achieved recently. I think there is likely a lot of questions, so ask me all these questions right here in the comments. So this obviously has a lot of implications on all the economics, right? Like, what does this all mean? What does this mean for those of you who supported us in the very early days and bought a node, right? And, we have all these things figured out, but we're not quite yet ready in this video to reveal all that. So this is just the first one of kind of a series that precedes the launch of several things that are being out there. So yeah, ask me all those questions, but don't be disappointed if I say in some cases, well, that's going to be part of a follow-on video, because obviously we want to reveal step by step, and also we don't want to say anything that's not cooked, ready, thought out yet, and then we'd have to think back and stuff like that. So or backpedal, something like that. So but we're doing all that. We're kind of super, super, super busy. Not kind of. We are super, 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 super busy these days, getting everything done for Breakpoint, figuring out the launch of the token and the liquid staking pool and everything there. And there will be a few things that are changing with this architecture, right? And again, I'm so happy that we have this architecture now, and it is just awesome. It's the missing piece in that docs.xandeum.org documentation that we had already done. So let me show you that again here, docs.xandeum.org, and show you that here. So that's the Xandeum technical documentation, and the chapters down there about the integration into Solana. We had that coming soon there because we needed to figure out that architecture, and it was not easy. It was not a small feat to figure out how we can actually do that and add that storage layer to the Solana chain, being fully integrated without each and every validator needing to upgrade to a new software, right? that would not have been feasible, right? And at least not on day one, right? And so, yeah, it was always, I've had many questions out there. Like, are we going to be our own chain? Are we going to be on Solana? I think that's figured out now. We are going to be 100% Solana integrated. And we have this paper here, and we're updating this paper to include that new architecture, which is great. And for all of that, there's also going to be a blog post. Where's that blog post now? Huh. Oh, here we go. Right. So, from vision to reality, the evolution of Xandeum storage layer on Solana. It's basically me announcing here how this new architecture came about. Here it is again. And this is just a sneak peek of that blog post that's coming out. And you see it has quite some length here. And I love that peek, poke, prove kind of paradigm here, which is kind of, yeah, I like that almost as a motto for Xandeum. Peek, poke, prove, repeat or something. We could have that as a t-shirt. Let me know in the comments how you will like that slogan. I love it. And yeah, watch out for these follow-up videos that will be coming out soon, that will be answering all the questions. And trust me, I've heard all these questions that you guys have been asking me on Discord, in this YouTube comments and everything, about, what I had one question like, what's the difference between a Xandeum validator and a Solana validator? If you've listened carefully today, you can probably know the answer from that, but I'm going to address that directly. And also, what does it all mean for node owners, and how are things progressing here? So, yeah, exciting times. This, as you know, I thought like we could launch the liquid staking hopefully in August. So August is almost over. It might be September. We hope to do it before breakpoint or even at breakpoint. But, there are so many details here on the technical side, on the development side, on the marketing side, on the communication side, putting all that in words and websites out here so that you guys can read up on it. And there are so many dependencies and so many new things that are not really, plannable ahead. So we're doing our best here to launch as soon as we can. The legal stuff is, almost cleared out now, so that's good. It was a little bit on the critical path here. And with the launch coming up and the token being listed, that also means the Xandeum Foundation might have that airdrop coming, right? So I can recommend that you guys go to our Points app, right? So this is at points@xandeum.org, points.xandeum.org. I'll show it here. Yeah, we have that homepage where you can grab all your points, and then we have that leaderboard. We have close to 5,000 wallet addresses in here. We have a few guys with over 1 million points. So if we add all these points together here now, we currently have 57 million points, right? And then we have an airdrop allocation in the tokenomics that will be shared soon, right? So there will be this and that many tokens for this airdrop number 1, right? There will be more airdrops coming, right? But this is airdrop number 1. And there's a certain amount of tokens, a fixed amount of tokens that's reserved for this first airdrop, and it'll be shared proportionally by these points here, right? But not everyone that's in here might be participating. So there might be a few rules, and we suspect a lot of them are Sybils. So Sybils is just like they've created a lot of different wallet addresses and email addresses, but are basically the same person. We will filter these out, and there might be other rules. Some others might be filtered out. But right now, as of now, before applying that filter, we have about 57 million points right now, right? And you see there's one with 1.3 million here. There are a few others here. So what does that mean, right? For example, if we go back here to that home page, it means that if you buy a node, a VNode right now, you're getting 1 million points, right? So you're getting 1,000 points for just following us on X or subscribing to the YouTube channel, right? So there's so many ways to collect a lot of points. But if someone were to buy a VNode here today, and you can still do that on Xandeum.com, there's that buy node here, and you just go to buy nodes and connect your wallet, and you can still buy nodes for $7,500, right? These $7,500 would give you 1/57th of the airdrop allocation, right? So there are a few smart guys that recently bought nodes just for getting a large chunk of the airdrop that's coming up, and this might be something. What we will do also shortly is have the number of points here, the total number of points, right here on the leaderboard, right? So these 57 million that I just mentioned, it'll show here, so you can see how many points there are in total. And the more points are being collected here, the more the total, and the more obviously things might get diluted a little bit. But I doubt there will be that many more points coming in the next few days or so before the launch. But I just want to mention this here, right? It's going to be a major airdrop. There is a sizable allocation for the airdrop here at the time of the launch, and there are ways to get a lot of points, and that way increase your own allocation. I just didn't want to leave that unmentioned, and so the Xandeum Foundation is doing that airdrop and that token launch. And that's one of the ways to get ahead in the points, right? Is just doing everything that's on there on how you can collect your points. I just honestly don't want to be accused later of not letting you know what's possible here. Yeah, so this was today's video. A lot to digest again, and there will be a lot more coming. So I would say most likely many of the videos that are coming up in the next few weeks will be Xandeum oriented, right? So me, I'll do a good mix of like crypto news commentary and just talking about exciting things that are coming up in the Solana ecosystem or in the crypto ecosystem in general. But the next few will likely be all focused about, my own baby, Xandeum, and the progress we're making there. So for today, I hope you enjoyed that. I would love to discuss so many things. So even if you think like, well, I likely can't answer that question just yet because it's not ready for publication, you can still ask these questions. Just don't be upset when I say, okay, that's going to be part of a future video or a future blog post, and you saw that blog post, that was just a draft, right? So there's no link yet, but once we have the link and the blog post goes live, I'll let you know. And yeah, so that's what's going on here. That's what's cooking at Xandeum. Again, super excited, and I'm super excited to have you as part of this community. This is the best community I've ever seen, the best community I've ever had in my career as an entrepreneur. Everyone's so excited, everyone's so understanding also, because some things just take longer here than expected, right? But we're on a really, really good track here. It's going to be awesome, and it's going to be changing the world here. This is not just another, app or something like that. We are changing what can be done on the blockchain and doing, being able to take apps that are now running on the normal web on a normal centralized server and having them run on the blockchain instead. I think that is a big, big breakthrough. It only works with the scalable storage layer. We're absolutely convinced that Solana is the right choice to build it on. By the way, we've recently looked into some others. I mentioned Polygon in this video, and because Polygon is kind of the only thing where we could do it on also, but Polygon has a market cap of 1.7 billion, right? It wouldn't really be worth it to do it on there. And on Ethereum, it just doesn't make sense. It's too slow, too expensive, and there are many L2s on Ethereum, but most of them don't have a set of validators, right? We need that set of validators so that they can have the extra rewards and all these type of things. But yeah, with things like Optimism, for example, or the other optimistic rollups, they are not really a great fit. BSC or BNB chain, also not really a great fit, and they don't seem to be growing at this point in time. So any BNB fans watching here, bear with me, but it doesn't seem like it's a great bet on future growth here. So the Solana chain is the absolute best choice here. Polygon might be another one, but yeah, maybe when they get a greater market cap, right? As of today, it's like we're aiming for TVLs in the next 12 months or so that are greater than the whole market cap of Polygon, right? So, and yeah, this will make Solana so much more useful, and it might have an effect on the Solana market cap as well. And yeah, I don't know. I'm talking a lot today, just because, yeah, I'm excited about all these things, and all the things coming together here, and being able to finally list our token, having a market, being on Breakpoint really, really soon, being a part of that, being one of 12 or so major sponsors of Breakpoint. That should give us some publicity. And yeah, things are moving in our direction. We're making progress here, and it wouldn't have been possible without you, and with you, our community members that watch these videos, with you, our early supporters that bought nodes, and will be part of this transition, obviously, to that new architecture that I just laid out in this video. And yeah, but I think at some point I just need to stop talking here. It's all live, by the way. And yeah, thank you for watching today. Catch you guys later.